film, Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement, I show you world leaders, top scientists, futurists, Ray Kurzweil, Bill Joy, all talking about how there's 6.5 billion people, how they cannot give us the life extension, and that's why a world government has to be formed to basically reduce our population so the elite can inherit the earth and get the life extension. And again, I just read the mainstream medical literature where they're increasing the life of certain types of insects 3-4 times, where they're doubling the life expectancy of rodents just with diet. And this literature has been out for a long time. A lot of the diets are basically high nutrient but near starvation. Dr. Mercola, can you comment on not just the lengthening of the DNA strands, but some of the other studies that are out there?
Well, the most common approach is calorie restriction. I'm not a big fan of that because it's really very difficult to do, and it's logistically impractical. So, but the studies, most of the studies use that as approach, and my approach is really to optimize insulin. So there's very clear from my review of the literature that that's probably the single most important way to optimize aging is to lower your insulin levels as low as possible. And there's two primary ways to do that. One is through eliminating your sugars. Avoid sugar like the plague. It's really not good for you in any way, shape, or form. So you really want to limit that. And if you and you want to get to your ideal body weight or body fat percentage. And the other important element is to exercise, and there's a lot of confusion about exercise. I started exercise in 1968 and was a long-distance runner for over 40 years, and unfortunately that is not the best type. So your typical cardio, which you see 90% of people doing when you go to a fitness club, is on a treadmill or the elliptical or the bike is not the way to do it. What we need is really these, actually it's much easier and much more time efficient, is these high-intensity exercises where you're really getting your heart rate up to maximum over a 30-second period, then going into a recovery period and doing that in a multiple times.
So it's almost like a powerlifting explosive?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a term for it. It's called Peak 8, just P-E-A-K-8. If you go to my website, type it in. I've got videos and really, there's no cost to it. For the information, and it just tells you how to do it really specifically and measure your heart rate. And literally in 20 minutes, you get the benefit of working out for 2 or 3 hours that you would in typical cardio, and that's going to increase your growth hormone, which tends to go down pretty dramatically after the age of 40.
Well, I kind of got into weightlifting from about 17 to 22, multi-hours a day, and then I was talking to some guys that were in really great shape that were UT football players, and they said, look, you need to do some cardio and stuff, but they said power lift, and I never got super strong. I could, squat 600 and bench press 330, but I weighed 180 pounds. But I started doing power clings and things, and I'd go home to see my parents from college, and they'd say, are you on steroids? And I was naturally, literally just ripped and bulging with muscles, and it was the powerlifting.
Yeah, that's more of a high-intensity thing. That's actually more of an ideal type of exercise. And strength training is absolutely an essential component of a good exercise program. It should be like 50% strength training, 50% of this high intensity, and some good stretching in there. But, you do that, and not only will you help optimize your ability to live a long and healthy life, but the quality of life will be good. You won't be crippled and debilitated, because 80% of Americans have problems with their joints and arthritis, pain. There's no reason for that. You don't have to suffer with that type of pain. It's just needless if you follow a healthy lifestyle.
Amazing. Well, Dr. Mercola, we had you on many years ago, and it seems like a decade passes, and I know you've been a busy guy, but it's great to have you back with us. And there's so much at Mercola website, mercola.com, M-E-R-C-O-L-A, obviously your last name, Dr. Joseph Mercola. I look forward to having you back up as things develop with quick pop-ins.
Sure.
And thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thanks for having me, Alex, and a great opportunity to talk to you and your listeners. So
you bet.
Be well.
God bless you. What an amazing interview. What incredible information. Again, we are starting to really win some battles, but we need to win the war here against the globalist.